Happy New Year! Happy 2022, everybody. I hope you had a good holidays. And I've got to tell you, I had an awesome holiday, and mostly because it was quiet. There was nobody around. I got to be by myself and be with my thoughts. And I know it sounds pretty lonely to some people, but it's really just what I needed this year. I've just had just too much noise, too much external noise, especially. So just kind of sitting down this year and just chilling and playing way too much Sticks and Stones and Call of Duty was fantastic. I enjoyed myself. How was your holiday? Okay, guys, so big change for 2022. This channel is going to start putting out more videos more consistently, and we're going to start ramping up on those. And we're going to start doing more types of videos. So some of those videos are going to be on arcade things, on pinball things, because the reason being is I've always, for the past, 15 years or so, kind of had my own little side business where I repair arcade machines, I repair pinball machines, mostly solid states like this one. I could never figure out an electromechanical machine to save my life. They're just weird. And I know you probably see this big blurry mess back here and have an idea of what that is. I promise we will get to this. For many of you that don't know, and this may be a shock, I love video games, but there's something I love more than video games, and that's pinball. And so this was inevitable, like Thanos. Arcade 1UP announced Pro Machines, and they're starting with Killer Instinct. And this is very much like a full stand-upright arcade machine. And the cool thing is, has a 19-inch screen like the iArcade, so they caught up to them. Has a probably much nicer screen for the price that you're paying for one of those compared to this. Only has 5 games, so it has Killer Instinct, Killer Instinct 2. It has Battletoads Arcade, 8-bit and 16-bit is all they say for the other 2 Battletoads games. So whatever, rare games. Not exactly the best lineup, and we're going to get into that in a second. You're getting a machine that's about 70 inches tall around there, similar to the Tron machine, but this one doesn't have a riser. It's just built to be stand up, and that's about it. To fix it, if you want to sit down, it does come with a stool with a backrest. It looks pretty swanky, though it still has that material, plastic and material on the stools that Arcade 1UP has. I've noticed in some of them, they get a little bit dry and then they start to crack. So hopefully this is a better material. Then they actually have a stress relief mat thing that I see every once in a while, typically on pinball machines usually. But they do have that with the Killer Instinct logo beneath. Now, do I think that this is worth it? For 5 games, you do get the Suzo Hap buttons and sticks. That's nice. So it's just like North American arcades. But it's got a nice light up marquee, all that stuff. It really does a good job mimicking a machine. My only complaint about it is, if you really want an arcade machine, a real authentic arcade machine experience, there are arcade machines out there that you can buy for less than $1,000. There's not many, because the price has gone up in the last few years, but I do think that price will come down eventually over time, hopefully a little bit. And then of course you can always build yourself something like a Mancade or something like that for much easier price. It's still going to be high, it's $700-800 because you have to build a relatively decent PC to handle those games and stuff. But at the end of the day, there's cheaper ways to get around this. If you're really that hardcore of a Killer Instinct fan, I can't fault you. But this has been my kind of concurrent problem with Arcade 1UP, is that for the price point, I expect these machines to be able to load other games or other games from the internet similar to the iArcade. Why that's not the case, I don't know. And then on top of that, with their prices going up, I understand price of building material, just inflation, value of the dollar is going down, prices go up. And I think one of the problems they're going to run into selling these machines is, although their build prices have gone up and they've had to raise their prices to reflect that because of the insane inflation rate going on right now in the United States, people are not getting paid more. There hasn't been a huge pay increase or anything, so that's far less people that can afford something like this, and they're straying further and further away from what they were. A affordable, small version of the arcade that you can take home with you, that makes sense. But something at this scale, I don't think necessarily makes sense. I think the thing that's missing is not being able to load other fighting games into this machine. So another great thing that happened yesterday, and one I'm really stoked for, and I didn't think I would ever say this, that I'm stoked for it, because Rush is not my favorite band, and you can ask my brother. I don't hate Rush. They're okay. I like listening to their music. It's just not I go out of my way for it, My God, Stern released a new pinball machine yesterday around the band Rush, and that thing is pretty, and I think you get a lot for your money. Now, going back to the build of materials cost again, Stern also had to do the same thing, raise the prices on their machine. Pinball machines, here's my problem. Here's my comparison between the two. Something like Arcade 1-Up with the Killer Instinct machine, I think for $1,000 shouldn't only just be close to the arcade experience. I think it should be an arcade machine with real coin slots and everything in it that you can actually set on location as an operator, possibly make money for that price. I'm sorry, to get these old games to run, there's not that much hardware it's needed. Even like current machines, like a lot of times when the boards go out, there's like this like little Raspberry Pi looking thing with a JAMMA connector on it. You can just put those in. It's essentially an FPGA board and replace your entire, like, you know, much more bulkier boards and still make money on that machine. So I would like to see an Arcade 1-Up do this. But with pinball machines, you're definitely getting what you're paying for. And I think that's best reflected now with what Stern's done with their pro model levels, because over the years, they've charged around $61.99 for their pro models. And you've noticed like their machines or pros have been getting lesser and lesser mechs, toys, things like that in them over a period of time, where really the real table's in the premium, I feel like. But now with this Rush machine, it feels like since they raised the price, they've raised it up to $68.99 for the Pro model, which is their base model. And if you don't know, Stern has 3 models, Pro, Premium, and Limited Edition. That Pro model is really, really good for the cost. You're getting a lot. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This Pro machine is awesome. I'm telling you, like, I would, if I was a Rush fan and I really wanted this machine, I would buy it, but look forward to it in locations, because I don't think any version of this machine is like a sad version of itself. Like the Star Wars machine, I've always seen the Pros and they never have the Hyperloop like spinner or spin ramp on them. And I always feel like that's like a big thing just left out of it. It needs to have that. So this, I feel like there's really not much left out. So their new prices, Pro is $68.99 for a Pro machine. It does come with the Stern Connect, which is like you set your phone down on like a little camera looking thing. And you can have like a profile and it's tied online and get achievements and all that stuff. And it's pretty cool tech going on there. But for the Pro machine, you're getting a sculpted magnetized time machine right in the middle of the thing. So there's like this little ramp and it shoots up into like a little donut inside the time machine. And a ball, you like charge up the time machine where you shoot in there and it'll capture the ball, and it can like, it looks like it can sling it either like forward or backward depending. So on the right hand side there's a Rush stand-up target, so there's 4 stand-up targets that'll spell Rush out. You have a Spirit of Radio optical spinner. So the optical spinners are pretty good. They actually like, they go crazy when you hit them. They like really spin up those points really quick. One interesting thing I haven't seen in a while on a pinball machine, this doesn't just have 2 out lanes and 2 in lanes. On the right side it actually has 2 in lanes. So it's been a while since I've seen that. That's pretty cool little thing to see come back into these machines. There's a right flipper, which can hit a bunch of shots just off that flipper as it like goes around its orbit. And that flipper also has like a little trap door area. So like you can actually like lock the flipper open and try to hit a shot behind the flipper. And that ball goes somewhere. I'm not really sure if it like locks for multi-ball or whatever. I couldn't see that in the video, but it does something. Speaking of shots off that flipper, if you hold the flipper up and you're coming around in that orbit, when it knocks off, there's a scoop that goes in from the right, or shoots from the right towards the left, and then there's a little subway system underneath, like a little window. You can see the ball just kind of like drop down the play field, and it shoots back out towards the, I believe it's going to shoot out towards the left flipper on a scoop facing downwards. This thing has a right inlane metal ramp. It is sweet. It actually has a laser cut like Rush into the ramp itself. It's very cool looking. I love the look of it. It's awesome. This thing has like a weird combination of like plastic and metal ramps. I know a lot of people have like really harsh feelings towards plastic. When plastic ages, sometimes it gets like brittle and snaps where the metal doesn't. But one thing I would say is most of the time they hold up fairly well. And I think plastic, there's some argument whether metal or plastic's faster. If you ask some people, plastic's actually faster than metal. I can give and take either way. I do like to see wireframes over the play field though, so because like plastic ramps interfere with seeing what you need to shoot at and stuff sometimes. So you can shoot up the left plastic ramp and then come out the right ramp, or there's a little diverter. So when you shoot up the left ramp or the right ramp, it'll actually divert those balls towards your out lanes on the left and right flipper. So it's pretty cool to see a diverter in a premium. I've never thought I'd see that. Like, there's been a few like Mandalorian and stuff. Mandalorian actually had some problems with their diverter, so hopefully this kind of fixed it. It looked like it's a little bit of a better design. Is plastic though, but it's also plastic like on all the other models, so it shouldn't matter. There's instrument drop targets on the left. There's 3 of them. And when you drop them, there's a little dead end target that you can hit behind that. So that's pretty cool. There's 16 Rush songs on this pinball machine, including Working Man, Fly By Night, and Tom Sawyer. So some of the best songs that they have. And in my opinion anyways. Okay, another cool thing about this is they actually have custom call outs by some of the band members.
Here we go! Pretend the ball is a long-awaited friend.
So they have Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson actually doing call-outs throughout the entire game. They're actually having banter back and forth between each other. And I guess actually Ed Robertson from Bare Naked Ladies is also doing a voiceover in this, so that's cool. He's actually a pretty big pinball fan. In his house, he's got an entire basement with his own like pinball arcade underneath, so I'm not really surprised. Or he's probably the one that got Rush involved in doing this pin anyways. All right, the premium table goes up a little bit further in the price from $68.99 to $89.99, so $9,000. It's quite a price hike compared to the last premiums. I think they were like floating around like $7,500, $7,600, somewhere around there. And for what you're getting for that, I will give you that I like the outer table art a little bit better. The premium has this sort of like Rush like on stage, and it's very colorful. I actually kind of like it. But I like the translate on the Pro a lot better with just like the owl in the background. Anyways, for the premium, you're getting just a motorized ramp for the time machine. So as you're playing the game, Geddy Lee calls out the time machine's ready, I believe. And then the ramp goes up. As far as I can tell, there's no actual shot that's revealing when it's down or anything like that. I could be wrong, but I don't really see anything there. There is an optic on the ramp itself, so maybe it's just registering through the optic and then hitting the metal and bouncing off. Seems pretty strange choice if that's what they're doing, but yeah, there's a motorized ramp. I don't really need it, so never really did need it. It just seems like a weird extra thing that's not necessary in any ways, and I feel like that with a lot of the mechs on the premiums. There's a dead end on the Pro that goes from the left of the time machine. Well, that dead end becomes an up kicker to a wire form that goes up and into the inner right end lane on the flipper. So it's cool. I'm a little bit worried about it because there's a lot of play in it in the video, and I've seen wire forms snap before after repeated use because of that. They're easy to replace. There's plenty of places to get stuff like this, but I do like the up kicker better than the dead end target. It's just something to be concerned about. Now here's where it's cool. That little window for the subway tunnel on the left feed or on the right flipper feeding the left scoop words and stuff, that actually has a lock mechanism inside. You can lock 2 balls for multi-ball, and it just shows in that little window in the playfield. It's pretty cool. All right, above the pop bumpers on the left side, there is this like clock looking drum thing. It's apparently the Clockwork Angel clock, whatever that is. Rush fans are probably going to know. It actually works. It lights up. Probably denotes like different modes in the game. Don't know how it interacts with it, but all right. The instrument drop targets are pretty cool. So when you drop them, instead of just being a dead end target, there's 2 pins that come up that can actually lock a ball in there and turn it into a Newton ball to hit that back target. So maybe like a 2-ball multi-ball is what it's doing. I don't know, but that's actually pretty cool. And maybe that's exclusive to the premium and the LE, is that 2-ball multi-ball from that particular target. As far as the LE goes, now you're going up in price from $89.99 to $11,000, basically $12,000, $11,999. That's a lot for a pinball machine. And the cabinet looks cool. It's got this like clockwork, like gears looking kind of almost like steampunkish, I would say. Maybe that's the wrong thing, but it's got this very, very cool art package on it, both on the back glass and on the machine itself. But for that price, you're getting powder coated black rails, which you could definitely do on your own machine at any time. Just take it someplace and get them done. You're getting expression lighting, which all the other 2 machines, the Pro and the Premium, actually have the inserts to install. So this is pre-installed. It already has it, but you can just buy it yourself. I think it's around like $500 from what I remember. And they're just like 2 lighting strips with about 100 lights compared between the 2, and they interact and do different things lighting wise when different things on the playfield are happening. So all these machines have the same code for it. You just have to install it yourself. And the LE, being limited as it is limited to 1,000 machines. So once there's 1,000, that's it. I would have a hard time at any point saying that as anybody you should get an LE. Okay, quick thoughts on Rush. I think it's a very cool pinball machine, especially with pinball machines today with the stereo sound and the subwoofer in them and the way that they sound. awesome for these kind of band themes going on. But the Pro, I think, is where it's at. You're getting a lot more for a Pro than you ever have in the past. This really is like a premium table at a Pro price. It is ridiculously good. I think you can't go wrong with a Pro, but I think once you start going up into the premium and the LE, just the extra added cost isn't really justified by what you're getting. I will admit that those art packages on those two other tables I think is a little bit better, but man, that Pro, it's the best Pro we've seen in a long time. It's really good. And I never thought I would say, there's a part of me, it kind of would like, that would be cool to have that table, just because like the way like the shots and stuff, the shots all look good on it. All the mechs and stuff look good on it. It's got Rush on the side of it. I mean, like I said, Rush is fine. If it's your thing, enjoy it. Otherwise, it's coming to arcades near you. Guys, thank you for watching these videos. I appreciate it. Can't do it without you guys. And see you in the next one. We'll be reviewing this when I have a couple of days here to get to it. So this is going to be pretty lengthy. This is going to be a review, okay? So anyways, see you guys in the next video, and later.